Hello, everybody. Spider here, the Fight Card Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Once again, wanted to bring in my guest today. He's actually a competitor for the EBI 19 qualifier, U.S. qualifier, going down in El Paso, Texas. Chris Orozco, man. Let me ask you, as far as you're going to be out there representing Legends BJJ, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how many from your academy are going to be competing that night? Just yourself?
Just me for this event.
Okay, and the bracket itself, man, because it's spread out. So basically, how many times do you guys get to compete in one day?
So it's 16-man bracket. So basically, to win it all, you have to win 4 matches in single elimination.
And it's going to be on that Sunday, right?
Yep, all one night.
Okay, and this is just because I kind of spewed on it as far as getting some info, man. How long are the matches? How long did they give you guys?
So they believe that they're doing 10-minute matches with the 3-round EBI overtime, which I've seen them modify that to maybe like a 1-round EBI overtime in the earlier rounds and then 3 in the finals for the sake of time. But yeah, as far as I know, they're 10-minute matches.
Now, and I got to ask you, as far as your training, because obviously you don't compete or you don't train to where you row 10 minutes and then take a break and then row back. So how are you going to go about doing it to keep warm, man? Like keep yourself going.
I train quite a bit, so with whether I'm doing a longer rounds or not, I'm trying to go in. I'll do at least like 6 rounds per like a class. So I keep my cardio on point, and then my coach and I we have our little things we do, our drills and stuff that kind of keep us loose in between our matches and leading right before the match.
Just to get keep the blood flowing, right? I mean, you got to definitely stay on your toes.
Yeah, as long as I don't get cold, I like try to keep this like a little sweat going, or at least get one going right before I get on the mat. Then I'm good. I don't, as long as I'm not out there just waking up and walking out on the mat.
No, for sure, man. And that's why I was curious because even back in the day, like when I used to compete, I mean, it was always, we tried to stay warm. Of course, if it was a gi, we keep the gi on or put a hoodie on. But it was always having to wait. I mean, obviously, this is going to be a bracket, so you'll know right away like who's next and who's going. But I mean, you've been competing for years, man. I mean, now as a black belt, I mean, this isn't the first time you competed in the black belt bracket, correct?
No, not at all. No, it'll probably be my biggest tournament I've done as a black belt. But no, I have a lot of competition experience on mats. Even before jiu-jitsu, like wrestling, like I just grew up doing grappling competitions.
Okay, and is that your base? Is that your foundation? Like, were you a wrestler first before jumping into BJJ?
Yeah, so I wrestled most of my childhood, and then some through school. Made an attempt at doing it in college after the military, but I was a little bit out too far. And then I found jiu-jitsu, and then jumped right in the deep end with competing on that one.
And let me ask you because I know people that kind of went backwards, or they were a jiu-jitsu guy first, and then they went into wrestling, and they said they wish they would have done wrestling first because of the base. But when you jumped in there, was it easy for you to actually like pick it up? I mean, I know you got to learn submissions and setups and reversals, but as a wrestler, was it easy for you to transition into Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
I think it's easier than not having a background at all because they are similar. They're both a grappling sport. Right. So I come in with the strong understanding of like a top control, side for like pinning. So that's compared to someone who's never jumped in, like that they don't understand those concepts. So like if I could hold someone in a pin, I can hold them in side control, and at least like as a white belt, that's enough to win a match because you're better at moving around. So passing the guard was a little bit easier in the earlier stages. But there's also bad habits that you have to break if you make a full transition from one to the other. Like in jiu-jitsu, you can fight off your back. When wrestling, like they freak out if we're on our back. We're like, get me out of here. We turn over, we expose our back, and all of a sudden we're in a bad spot. So I think that for the most part, it's absolutely helpful having that. Once you learn to break the bad habits and keep the good habits, like it really does push you forward.
No, for sure, man. Now I know the people that are in your gym. but just so we know, who are the ones that are actually helping you prepare for this bout or for this matchup?
The main one's my coach, Travis Moore, big name in Texas. He's done 2 EBIs himself. And then I got Jimmy Altman. He's another one, Travis's friend, another black belt, great training partner. A few of our brown belts, Davis JiuJitsu, Tim Cundiff, and so there's a handful of good grapplers in there. We got a good thing going at our gym right now, and makes for some good tough rolls.
No, definitely. I mean, being that your team, they're very competitive, man. So there's always somebody having a match coming up. So like you said, it helps you because if something else comes up, you're ready to go. You're already training.
Yeah, and I like outside of what I'm doing, you know, like work wise, like I live in the gym and I'm always there trying to help them get ready. So when it's my time to come up, like they're there for me when I need them. So I try to live in this place. Like if something comes up, I'm ready to go. Like even if it's like, hey, it's a week notice, come on, we're gonna do this match. I'm like, I won't go in there and look like complete ass. Like I'll be at least ready, even if my game plan's not there. And I just for everything that just it's better like for my training and just overall health and everything. I just always want to be ready.
No, for sure. Now let me ask you because this the tournament is going to be on a Sunday. Now, do you guys normally train on Sundays?
So yeah, I do. I think typically Friday is my day off. And
okay.
Yeah, so like Monday through Thursday we hit it hard during the week, pretty typically, and then we have Saturday classes and then an open mat on Sunday, and then on Sunday I run a free class for veterans and first responders. So that just ties it into there. So Sundays usually, yeah, I'm training. And if I don't make it there, there's always good open mats around Austin and anywhere for me to hit up.
No, yeah, definitely, man. And that was one of the things I wanted to bring up also, man. I mean, you volunteering for the veterans. Tell us a little bit about that.
So after high school, I joined the Marines, and kind of in that break of getting out of the military to finding jiu-jitsu, like things got a little bit like rough for me. So when I came across veterans jiu-jitsu and it very early on, and like just meeting with veterans were training jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, all right, so something I'm very familiar with, that camaraderie with veterans and something I love, jiu-jitsu right there. And that really kind of helped me get back kind of on a guided path. And I've been with that pretty much the whole time. So it was important to me to make sure I'm running one of those classes and I'm able to contribute and give back to them as much as I can. And Joey Zente, the guy who started it all, he's a good friend of mine. So it's just important for me to help other veterans, and jiu-jitsu's helped me. It's helped others as far as like dealing with PTSD. So it's like just bringing those two worlds together. It means so much to me. Right.
No, I mean, I can only imagine that because one of the things that I always push through the podcast is just the fact that martial arts in general, anything, it's good to relieve stress. I mean, it's therapy, it's therapeutic. You can go out there and, get a workout before you go home and, worry about work or whatever's going on in life, man. But I mean, being that, you were, or you are, you're always a Marine, of course, thank you for your service. But being that you've actually been there and you came out, I mean, would you say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would be great for somebody suffering from PTSD?
Absolutely. Like just one, there's like the idea of getting veterans together because they understand what you've been through. These combat veterans get together. So it's like jiu-jitsu's not war, but it's fighting in a sense. And it's fun. You'll see there's a lot of videos out there of just like people in uniform and they're grappling and stuff. So it's fighting, hand-to-hand combat training. The Army does a lot of like focus on combatives, and a lot of the people that I train with, they're involved in a lot of that too. So it all just ties together. It just fits so well, and there's a lot of crossover between the two. One of my friends pointed out, he's like, in the military, you have ranks that you earn. Jiu-jitsu, you have ranks that you earn. You still have that camaraderie. Everybody's joking around, and so there's a lot of that familiarity that transfers from the military through just hanging out with people in jiu-jitsu.
No, for sure, man. I mean, I know here in San Antonio, I mean, we're known as Military City, USA. You know, we don't have as many bases open as we used to. But you guys in Temple, I mean, you have Killeen, you have it's like Military City town, you know, because there's so many you know, the base, of course, being out there, but there's a lot of retired military personnel. I mean, do you guys cross train a lot being with the Veterans Jiu-Jitsu? Do you guys go to like other towns and train with other gyms?
So it depends on like who the classes are kind of just open to veterans, are always free for veterans, and wherever we're growing this, but it started in Austin and it's grown. We got some like kind of they're starting to pop up in other cities all over.
Right.
For myself personally, I do go into a lot of the classes in Austin and cross train with Joey and a lot of those guys, as well as trying to keep up with my training with Travis and everybody at Legends. And I cross train a lot across Austin anyways. So if there's like a good open mat, I'll be there getting my rolls in.
No, you can't say no, man. Definitely.
And like I'll say for sure, I haven't been down to San Antonio too much other than competition, but there's a lot of like a very big jiu-jitsu community within Austin where everybody kind of gets together and train, and they kind of just take like the ego out of the gyms and stuff. And it's like, hey, we all love this sport. You come from your gym, you're welcome. Come roll. And it's like there's a lot of friends made there.
No, definitely. I know here in San Antonio, I mean, it's been like that for a few years now. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of gyms have open mat, like usually on Saturday or Sunday. But I mean, it's a great opportunity, man, because other than a tournament or a competition, you don't get to actually, you know, train with everybody, you know, different people. So it adds for technique, you know, for you guys to compete outside the state or going to another state to compete, you know, represent Texas, of course. But let me ask you, as far as your competition life, man, I mean, what do you do outside of competition? I mean, if you're not at the gym, if you're not training or teaching, what are you doing?
Mostly I'm taking my dogs on hikes. So I was like, yeah, I got my 2 dogs, and if I need a break from rolling hard, like something nice, like taking them for a stroll, or like I like to go out and ride my motorcycle, or just maybe occasionally playing a video game or something. But mostly everything I do revolves around, you know, entertaining my dogs.
No, yeah, they're a handful, man. I got 4 at home, so believe me, I know. Now, as far as your training partners, man, I mean, Legends BJJ, of course. Like, who's the toughest guy in your gym that kind of pushes you even more? I'm pretty sure all of them do to an extent, but I mean, who would be that one person that usually pushes you to your limits and further?
Oh, that's Travis. Yeah, I met Travis as a white belt. He had just gotten his black belt, and like he was competing all over Texas and like all over doing big things at that time. And when I come across him, he was like asking, he's like, "What do you want to learn?" I'm like, "What do you think?" And like he showed me these techniques, and then he showed me a video of him hitting it in competition. And so I'm like, that's what I want. Like, I want to be able to like, yeah, I'm showing you something that actually works, not just something that I look like. You'll see a lot of that. So that's what attracted me there. And so I've just been working with him ever since. And he knows my game really well. And I've trained with him long enough. I know his game. So him and we get some tricky battles, and it's not like a low level skill either. Like we both get after it. And pushing the pace like we do and still having to dig through all those techniques, he absolutely pushes me the furthest.
No, for sure, man. And I know Travis, you know, he used to compete in amateur MMA back in the day, man. So I've known him from fighting here in San Antonio. You know, Cowboys Dance Hall. It's the epitome for MMA here in San Antonio, man. But I know a great guy. I mean, I see him on social media, of course. So I'm always cheering the guy on because he's always putting himself out for competition, man. With somebody like that, I mean, does it kind of like motivate you yourself to go out there and compete as well?
Yeah. So I kind of, like I said, I kind of attached to Travis and kind of way he did things. And when he was competing, kind of before he had hit the gym and everything, he was pursuing this. And I kind of felt like, well, this is what I should be doing. And there was a lot of interest because I had wrestled. And so like I jumped into my first competition pretty early and won. So there's a lot of people who are like, hey, we can do something with this guy. And like, Which I find it kind of weird because like if you look up anything from my wrestling days, like you won't find anything. I wasn't that good. And I'm older, like I'm older than Travis, but like he is in the sense of jiu-jitsu, he's been my mentor through the whole time. Like I've been working with him, whether he's at the gym or not. I'd go out of my way to do training with him. So yeah.
And let me ask you, man. Right now in competition, do you have more lined up for the rest of the year, or is there anything up? Like, is it up in the open as far as after the CBI?
So I am registered for the ADCC trials,
Okay.
another big no-gi event that I need to pursue. I kind of look at it as like there's certain things I need to do for being a little bit older. I just like fighting is a young man's game, what Dana said, and like I feel that on my body. And I started this kind of late too, so I was like I'm just trying to get as much in while I can. And so for me, like I have to make this run at ABI, I have to make this run at ADCC because it feels like now or never.
Right.
So those are the big things. And then I think after that, I have some stuff in the gi that I want to pursue. Maybe not as high, like extreme high level like ADCC or EBI, but I do have some goals in the gi that I kind of want to accomplish before I feel too old and broken.
And let me ask you this. This is the big question, man, because you do come from wrestling. Do you prefer gi or no gi?
So I have this quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes when people ask me this. It said, gi is fun, but no gi is business.
There you go. You
So,
see, for me, starting off, it was always it wasn't. I mean, I started training in 2000 here locally, and we used to do gi and no gi, but it wasn't not that it was frowned upon, but it's just I mean, you would go to traditional BJJ schools, and of course they'll be strict with the rules as far as like wearing the gi at all times and being I mean half the time we're like with the gi top and shorts on, it was just like it was all over the place. But yeah, man, I mean wrestling for me personally, I'd rather prefer no gi, but as far as for yourself, man, I mean, after this tournament, like you said, you're going to pursue gi competitions. Are those going to be here locally, or are you going to like shoot out for outside the state to compete?
No, I think it's probably going to be more local. I'm like, I'll jump into if I travel outside of Texas for anything I'm chasing in the gi, it might be like if I feel comfortable enough to take a shot at Worlds or something. Which would be the Masters, it's actually going to be really hard in the gi for someone who doesn't do a lot of it. So like I still will do like no gi Worlds.
Right.
I did that the last one, and I didn't get to show everything I wanted to show, and like I think in the Masters divisions that I still have more to show there in no gi. Like ADCC and EBI is gonna be a lot harder to do because there's not the Masters divisions and whatnot. So maybe like I definitely will. I'm not done with no gi. I'm not done with everything, but like maybe I'll focus a little bit more on like some master stuff after that. But right now EBI is that's next. That's this weekend, and then ADCC trials is coming up, and that'll be the next big thing. There might be a small tournament here or there that I might jump in just to keep myself, ready for competition.
Right. And now let me ask you, for the EBI 19, it is a U.S. Open qualifier. It is going to be on the UFC Fight Pass, man. I mean, is this the first time you've been on UFC Fight Pass?
This will be my first time on Fight Pass. Yes.
And how does that? Are you worried? Are you not worried? I mean, what's going on there?
Honestly, no. People always like make a big deal about that, but like when I'm out there on the mat, like I don't even think about anything. You train so hard in the room that I just instincts take over. So like it's all muscle memory reaction.
Right.
I used to feel that way fighting on like the stages for like sub hunters and fight to wins, but now like even then like I can zone out everything that's going on and just focus on the match in front of me. So no, I don't think about that too much. Honestly, like I know going into this, my opponents are going to be tough. Like everybody on this card is going to be tough.
No.
because it's EBI. It has prestige. Not just anybody gets invited. So guaranteed tough opponents. I think that's like, if anything's going to cause any sort of nerves, it's just like, I know I'm in for a fight. There's no walking through this thing.
No, for sure. And like you mentioned right now, the fact that it is by invitation only, I mean, are you kind of proud of that? I mean, is that kind of like, hey, you know, they invited you to compete in this tournament?
Yeah, like I worked hard. It was Travis who told me. He was like, you need to apply. Like, there's no way they won't take you. And I was like, what makes you think that? Like, what? Like, I kind of just thought that. I was just like, and then he was like, dude, there's no way they won't take you. And then he was right. Like, I applied. Like, I reached out to them. They sent the invitation, and here we go. We're gonna do it.
No, for sure, man. Like we mentioned, it's gonna be EBI 19. It's going to happen this Sunday at the El Paso County Coliseum. I'm going to let you go ahead and plug in your sponsor before you finish this up, man. So who's helping you for this tournament?
So first I need to shout out to, one second. Shout out Travis and Martha and everybody at Legends, my teammates. They're the ones that are helping me get ready. I got Joey Zente. He runs Veterans Jiu-Jitsu. He's helping me here. Josh and Milt at DD214 Fightwear. They're my clothing sponsors. And I wish Milt very speedy recovery. He was recently in a motorcycle accident. And then Nami Sushi and Japanese Steakhouse. So they support me. They're actually very supportive of Travis and I and our jiu-jitsu adventures, and they train, like the owners train at the gym, and they also fuel me up when I go to competition.
You want to thank them, man, because they feed you, man.
Yeah.
My man. Well, I do appreciate you, bro. Chris Orozco, everybody, EBI 19 this Sunday on UFC Fight Pass. So best of luck to you come tournament day. And we'll catch up with you after this tournament, man, and see how everything went and see what else you'll be up to.
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I appreciate you having me out here.
Not a problem, man. Everybody, this is DeFi Card Podcast. Until next time, follow up. Thank you, bro.
Yep, thank you.